Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival. This is the Getting Started tutorial series, and we are almost done with the series. We only got, I don't know, 2, 3, 4-ish episodes left. It just depends upon how long it takes for me to get the small vessel built and take our first trip up into space. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. So, last time when we started the hover vessel build, I also made our small vessel starter, so that's done, but we're going to need a few other things. Actually, you know what? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the small vessel tech tree, and just like we did with the hover vessel, we're going to learn the T2 CPU extender right off the bat. We're not going to screw around with it. We're just going to learn it. We're also going to need thrusters because an SV thruster is different than an HV thruster. It used to not be that way, but it is now. And we're going to want medium thrusters too. We'll probably hold off on learning the larger ones for the moment because I'm not planning on making a really large small vessel. We might do a minigun turret. We're going to need a detector. We'll probably want RCSs, but we'll have to see how that goes. Mobile constructor, let's hold off on that. We might do something like that later. Shutter doors, ramps. We're going to want landing gears, of course. We're not going to do a hull shield because we would need a tier 3 ship to do that. We might do armored cockpits, but let's just hold off on that too. So I think that'll get us all the real basic stuff that we need. We might actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do a rocket launcher as well. Okay, so that takes care of our tech tree stuff. Now we're going to go into the constructor and hit the small vessel filter and go to equipment. So we've got our block here. So let's see, we're going to need a generator. So let's do that. Did we learn the generator? Hold on a second. Sorry, I had a Logitech software thingamadoodles pop up. And it made my screen go tabbed out for a second. Okay, so let's see. What are we doing? We're looking for a generator. So why in the hell am I not seeing that? It was my... Oh, there it is right there. Okay. For some reason, my brain expects to see the generator horizontal like the fuel tank. And when I don't see it, then I get all confused. Let's go ahead and do 2 fuel tanks just like we did before. We're going to need a cockpit, of course. We're going to want a wireless connector. We're going to want a detector for sure. Armor locker is the same for the SV and the HV. So what we might do in that case is just take the one out of the HV for now. We're going to want a refrigerator. And we're going to want... Did I already do an RCS? Let's hold off on the RCS. We might, if we build this thing correctly, we might not need any RCSs at all. We'll just have to wait and see. We are going to want a light. We're going to want... I don't think I'm going to do an ore and wood controller. Now, you can harvest asteroids with a small vessel now, and if you do that, you will need an ore and wood controller, but in our case, we're just going to make a single ammo controller. And that's going to be our storage for the whole ship. Ammo and everything else that we need. And then let's make some container extensions too. And we might follow the same process to maybe to a little bit of a lesser extent in that we build the hull out of the container extensions, or at least part of them. So I'm going to queue up maybe about 50-ish of those, let's say. We're going to want a couple of O2 tanks because we are going to go up into space with this, and probably an O2 station as well. The other thing that we want with a small vessel that we didn't need to worry about with a hover vessel is we want to make some wings too. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to... let's see. Where do I go for the wings? I need to... They're not here, are they? I'll find them here. There they are. Okay, so they're under building blocks. So you have modular wings, and then you have just kind of like fixed wings. The difference is that these come in just a fixed, all one size fits all size, Whereas these modular wings, you can actually stack them and you know, make a little bit different types of designs. And what I will often do, depending upon, you know, what I'm trying to do with the small vessel, is sometimes I'll use a combination of both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 normal wings, and let's do maybe 4 modulars for now. And you know, if we end up needing more of those later, we can of course make those later. All right, so that gives us everything except for our thrusters. Let's go over to our small constructor. Make sure that we're on small vessel, and we're going to go ahead and do 2 medium thrusters for now, for the back. And we'll, you know, if we need to adjust that later, we can, of course. So we'll, like we did with the hover vessel, we'll just start with the most basic set of thrusters, and then do a performance test once we get it built out, and then add more thrusters as needed. So the other consideration for a small vessel that you didn't have to worry about for a hover vessel is you have to account for all directions, not just forward, back, left, and right, but also up and down. So that means we need more thrusters than we did in the first place. Okay, so I generally, unless I'm making a very, very small vessel, I generally like to have at least two thrusters in all of those directions. So we're going to start with that, and here again, we can adjust later as needed. Okay, so that means we're going to need 2 for the top, 2 for the bottom. We're going to need 2 for the side, and 2 for our reverse thrust. Okay, so that means we need a total of 8. So let's just queue up 10, and then we'll take 2 of those off, because remember, we're using the medium thrusters for our rear thrust. We'll start with that, and we'll adjust as we need to as we go along. Okay, let's go and pick our garden. I did check it before I started the camera, and it is ready to go. So we're going to temporarily connect to our refrigerator. And then let's come in here and pick our next round of crops here. And then, you know, we'll continue turning these into rations and get ourselves a nice little supply of rations. Sometimes these buds are a little weird to pick. You used to actually get a significant, amount of XP in this game when you picked crops. But Elion nerfed that because people were... I wouldn't say people were necessarily abusing it, but you you could level really fast by just picking crops, and you know, so they nerfed that. I don't know if you get any XP at all now, or if you do, it's not very significant. I suppose we could have tested that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's put those in there. I'm not even sure what that was, but it's spoiled. Well, we need to eat ourselves, so let's just have some burgers and get our food topped off. And then we're going to go here, and we're just going to queue up 100 okay, we'll queue up 1,000 rations. It's not going to make that many, obviously, but we'll queue up 1,000 rations, and then, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do. And we'll check it later after the rations are done, and we'll see what we can still make. Okay, so that takes care of that. Let's disconnect from the wireless. Okay, so we're just waiting for all that stuff to cook up. And now, I told you this last time, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm not intending to, let's say, spend a long time building this small vessel out and making it look really super cool. We're going to make it very basic, but functional. And, you know, it's not going to look like a flying box though either. We'll try and do some cool stuff with it, but we're not going to get too crazy with that. I know I said that with the hover vessel too, but we'll just that's at least the plan. We'll see how things go. Okay, let's press F4. And we're going to go to our output, and we're going to just connect to that because this is where all our stuff's going. And let's go ahead and start grabbing some of these components. So we're going to want the cockpit. We're going to want the fuel tanks and the generator. Why is that in there? That should be in the input. Oh, we don't have room for it. Okay. Let's see, what else? We're going to want the wireless. We're going to want the ammo controller, the headlight, the detector, the refrigerator, and the extensions. And then we'll leave the thrusters in here for now. Oh, and I guess we need the starter block too, so we'll actually leave the extensions in here and pick those up later. Let's go over here for just a moment to the input and slide that and that over there because those are actually input items. Oh shit, you know what? I already had 2 medium thrusters in here left over from the hover vessel. Well, I'll tell you what, if we need 4, we've got them now. We've got them now, so not a problem. No, I take that back. These are HVs. We can't use them. We have to use the SVs. And there is some difference. So for example, these are the HVs. I know that because if you look on the screen tip, it says placeable HV. These only have like 200 hit points. They use 88 CPU and they have a force of 130 kilonewtons. Whereas the small vessel version has 300 hit points, 123 CPU units and 170 kilonewtons. So even though the icon looks the same, and I think visibly they might look the same too, these are actually more powerful for the small vessel. It used to not be that way. They used to be interchangeable, but I think Elyon changed that when they changed how the aerodynamics and whatnot work in the game. Okay, so let's see. I was going to go to the input there, and I have a couple of input items myself. What? Okay, hold on. There we go. I did get attacked by another wave of drones that came in before I started the camera up, and there were just 3 drones. We took them out. No problem whatsoever, so that's where some of that stuff came from. Plus, I think we killed a couple drones in the last episode, and I never never unloaded. Speaking of which, we have 963 30 mil bullets. We should probably make a few more of those. Let's see, that's still making all of that. Yeah, let's just queue up some... Oh, we can't make 30 mils in the small sector. That's right. Okay, so we'll just put them on the end of this. So let's just do another 700. Yeah, we'll do another 3,500 or so. That should be plenty. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our build here. So we'll build the small vessel on this side. So much of this, guys, is going to be very, very similar to what we did with the HV. Especially, here in the beginning. So we're going to get that more or less in the middle. And remember what we talked about when we started the HV build, how you want to pay attention to the direction of this little white arrow because that will become the front of the ship. Very important not to forget that. Okay, let's see. We're going to press T and switch to this, and like we did before, we're going to pick up all the normal steel blocks and just leave the core, remembering that that's forward. Very important. Okay. Let's press T, go back to our toolbar menu, and we're going to choose our cockpit, and let's see, what do we want to try? Maybe let's try this cockpit 7 this time. It's so this one was a 3x2x4. This one's a 3x2x6, so it's a little bit longer, just a little bit sleeker looking than this one. I don't like to use cockpit 6 because it's only 2 blocks wide. So it means you either have to make a really narrow ship or the cockpit becomes too narrow in proportion to the rest of the ship, depending upon, of course, how you build it out. So we're going to go with cockpit 7 this time. Remember, I told you last time, too, that the difference between these newer styles and the older legacy styles is that these you can upgrade to armored cockpits. The legacy cockpits you cannot upgrade. So if you like these older looks better, that's fine, but just know that you're not going to be able to upgrade it to an armored cockpit later on, okay? All right, I want to get you down in front and make sure it's right in the center too, which it is. Okay, good. There we go. We're going to follow a similar build pattern to what we did with the HV in terms of, again, just making sure that stuff stays balanced, except for that in this case, we're not going to have 2 mirrored sides in terms of the what am I trying to say? In terms of the extensions, okay? So let's once again look at the weights on our stuff here. Okay, so this is 262 kilograms. These are 88 a piece. That's 160, so that's actually heavier than a single tank is. That's 52. The light's going to go on the front, so it kind of doesn't matter anyway. 52. This one is 55. The fridge is 62. So I think I've got those set in order of their weight. 62, 55, 52. Okay, good. All right, so balance on a small vessel is important. Not, I would say not quite as important as it is on an HV, but it's still important. I mean, if you build a small vessel and you put all the weight to the back, it's gonna, it's gonna dip up a little bit and list to the side if it's too much on the side and whatnot. So you still want to have it, be relatively balanced, but it's, I would say it's probably not quite as critical as the hover vessel. And also that is, again, relative to size too. So the smaller it is, the more important it is that you keep it balanced. Okay. So with this, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Jenny up here. Okay. Except for, you know what? That wasn't the Jenny. That was the fuel tank. Can't take me anywhere, man. I'll tell you what. Can't take me anywhere. Let's go back to our output. Put that back down there. All right, now this time let's use the actual generator. How's that sound? I'm going to flip that thing down like so, and we're going to put the Jenny right there. Now the wireless is the next heaviest thing, so we're going to put that right underneath the generator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the fuel tanks on both sides, just like we did with the hover vessel. So very similar, type of setup here. And then I think I'll put the fridge next, and then maybe we'll put the detector above the fridge, perhaps that way. And then what we can do is we can put our controller in the back, and then we can kind of branch out from it on both sides with our extensions and kind of start building out the hole with that. For the moment, I'm just going to pop this guy in the front, but we'll probably end up moving that later. Let's go back into our F4 menu. Let's grab our we got two O2 tanks as well. Let's grab our extensions. We're going to put those in slot number 1. And we have an O2 station. Okay. Let's grab the SV thrusters and the SV small thrusters. And the armor locker, that must have already been in there. So we're just going to leave that in there for now. And then we'll put the wings over here. So I think, and we need normal steel blocks too. So let's just shift everything this way. Now, some people will build small vessels with composite blocks, and you can. It's cheap and it's very light, but boy, you don't want to get into any kind of combat with those. If you guys watched the last video, we were out and about in the hover vessel, and we took some shots from some drones, and I even lost a couple of blocks at one point. But I mean, the steel was able to withstand, some of those shots. I mean, if the drone would have continued shooting at us, it would have started tearing us apart. But we were able to take a few shots with the steel. But with the plastic, it's going to almost instantly destroy the blocks. So if you're going to build out of plastic, make sure you're not intending to get in any kind of combat whatsoever. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do with the next stuff here. So how heavy is this? Let's go back into here, or actually here, F4 is going to work better. Okay, how heavy is this? This guy is 70 kilograms. These guys are 69. Actually, those are heavier than I would have guessed. So 70 and 69. Okay, so what we might do, let me think about this for a second. I want to keep this guy on the end for sure. let's bring this, whoops, let's bring that back up for a moment. So that one was 55, and these are 69 a piece, and that one's 70. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the oxygen dispenser here, and I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. With the oxygen dispenser, if you can, you're going to want to be able to actually access it so you can use it. Let me look at something here. If we go here and we go to the O2 station, yeah, the thing about the O2 station is you can't access it, or rather, I should say, you can't use it from the P menu. It's one of the few things that you can't. You actually do need to have direct access to this in order to, fill up your oxygen. Okay, because there's no way from here that I can actually access it and use it to fill up my tank. Okay, so keep that in mind. Wherever you end up putting that, you need to put it in some place where you can get at it. So that's usually either going to be somewhere on the back or somewhere on the top of the vessel, which is kind of what we're planning on doing, at least right at the moment. The other thing I might do with this too is, no, actually I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. So now we have, let's go back to here. So we have a couple of O2 tanks, and we still have a detector that we have to figure out what we're going to do with. So the O2 tanks, if we wanted to, we could put those, we could just put those on each side here so everything stays balanced. And then for our detector, I think what I'll do with this guy for the moment anyway is we could put this in front. Yeah, let's, for the moment, okay, that I might end up changing this. I reserve the right to change my mind. For the moment, I'm going to stick it right there, okay? And we'll do that. Because this is all going to get covered up anyway. So I know it looks kind of dumb that way, but it'll get covered up, so it won't matter. Okay, guys, so I think that takes care of all of our equipment. Except for the thrusters, of course, and the hull. All right? So let's go ahead and put our symmetry plane on now. Make sure that's right in the center. And then we're going to grab some extensions. And let's just go ahead and fill stuff out here. So what we might do here is, let's just stay really basic for now. And we're just going to use 45s along here. Okay. Let's grab a corner half A3 and put that there. And then, no, you know what? Actually, I think what I'm going to do is pick those back up for a second. Man, I wish they would put those back on your toolbar. Let's hold this out further. Oh, you know what we should do, now that I think about it? We should make some jets. So we have afterburners, basically. I should have done that in the first place, of course. Let's go back to our constructor, small vessel. I'm going to probably need, yeah, I'm going to have to learn those. Okay, so let's go back to F3, small vessel, find our thrusters, and we want thruster jet, the 1x3, just the small one. Now, keep in mind, small vessels, the term small for small vessel is really just a category of ship in this game. And a small vessel does not necessarily mean the vessel is actually small. Okay? You can build very large small vessels. I mean, really big ones. And I can even show you an example of that with one that I built a few years ago in an earlier alpha. It was basically modeled after the Cylon Raider Mark Mark II, I think it was, something like that. And it's huge. It's just absolutely enormous. In fact, it's really too damn big for a small vessel. So all that to say, I mean, you know, you guys, if you watched my block tutorial several episodes ago, I spawned in my Jade Jet, which is a small vessel, but it's not an actual small ship. It actually uses the double XL engine, so it's very large. So just kind of keep that in mind. But for our purposes, I'm just going to use the smallest of the jets. Remember, the thruster jets give you a boost, whereas the normal thrusters do not. So you can hold down the shift key and get a temporary boost in power and go a little bit faster with the thruster jets. So they're very useful for that purpose. Okay, so let's go back into here now. And we're going to go to equipment. And, crap. We are missing cobalt alloy. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to just use the normal medium thrusters for now. And one of the first things we might do is actually go get some cobalt in our small vessel so that we can then come back here and make some actual thruster jets. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to... no, not that. Let's grab the ramp C. And I want to bring this out to here. And then we'll go with corner half A3 there. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you remember, those jets are actually 3 blocks long. Here, let's do this. And so they're actually going to stick out all the way to the end. But the normal ones here, let's do this. Let's put a normal block here, or a normal cube for now. And then these guys will stick right here temporarily. When we put the actual jets down, we'll remove this extension so it takes up the 3 block space there. Okay. And now we have some extra room in here that we can really just, if we wanted to, we could fill that in with extensions. Or we could put, you know, more O2 tanks in if we wanted to. But I think for now, or we could put a constructor, a portable constructor, or I mean a mobile constructor in there. Be careful with the mobile constructor though, because that sucker uses a lot of CPU. Speaking of which, did we not make an extender? I think I learned it, but I don't think I actually made it, did I? No, we didn't. Okay, so let's go back to here and let's make our, make sure we're on small vessel. Yeah, we'll make our T2 CPU extender. Just like I told you with the hover vessel, if you could afford to make that now, make it now. Just do it and get it done. So that way you have it. And then you're not limited to the tier 1 CPU, which is very limited. If it's very, very early game and you don't have the ability to make one of those, then of course, you know, don't, but you're going to be much more limited to what you can do with the ship. So we'll probably stick that extender right next to the extension down in that little hole right there. Okay, so while we're waiting for all of that, now we want to start thinking about some thrusters. So we're going to just put everything right now in just kind of the basic spots for the moment. Yeah, let's just put those there. We have enough to where we can do, you know, 2 on all sides, right? And one thing we might actually do is... maybe what we'll do is we'll put that thruster as a down thruster right there for the moment. And maybe we will pull this back up and put a down thruster on this end, like so. Okay, that should be good. Now we also need to deal with up thrust, so let me think about that for a moment. How we want to handle that. Okay, I've got an idea for that. What I'm going to do for now, though, is I'm just going to temporarily put this thruster here so we have an up thruster. I'm sorry, we have a down thruster on there. If we forget to put that on and we take off in this thing, then we're not going to be able to go back down. Well, at least not straight back down. So that's temporary because I had an idea of how I might want to change something here with these thrusters. Basically, what I'm thinking about doing is taking these thrusters here and moving them down a block and then putting the up thrusters here. But we can't do that until we can, get the thing off the ground and move stuff around. Okay, so for side thrusts. Now, before we figure that out, what I want to do, is our extension done yet? Let's take a look. Should be getting really close. Takes a little while. Okay. Let's start thinking about the wings now. Now, old school Empyrion, you didn't even have wings in old school Empyrion. And then they added them a while back. And when they first added them, they were kind of more just for decoration than anything. Because at the time, aerodynamics didn't really matter in this game. But now they do. And wings are going to do a couple of things for you. They're going to help with your aerodynamics of the vessel. But they're also, and maybe almost even more importantly, or at least as important, they're going to allow you to take your rear thrusters and get them out further so that you have better turning. Remember, we already learned that with the HV. We moved these thrusters out further out to the side, and it improved our yaw in the process. Well, the same thing applies, to any kind of a flying vessel as well. All right, so what we're going to do is let's go ahead and grab our wings here. Now, if we right-click, we've got all kinds of different options for the type of wing that we want to use. So you've got wing A, B, C, and D, and E. Okay, so you got those 5 styles of wings, and then as you continue on, then they're the same thing, but they're just larger versions. So this is wing A style, but now this is a 6x9 versus just a 6x5. And then the ones, these are the largest ones that you'll have. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to try for this build? I use these wings here in my for my Stingray build, which is in my Let's Play series. So they worked out pretty good for that, but I don't think I'm going to use those. I think I would like to try, what does wing B look like? Let's take a look at wing B. So it's kind of let's get it rotated here. Okay, so that's kind of a fairly sleek, swept back look. Another nice thing about this too is it kind of covers up the sides, all of our equipment down there. Okay, let's keep that one in mind. I'm not 100% convinced that's the one I want to use. So let's pick these back. Oh, shit. Whoops. Let's pick these back up. And our extender's ready. We do have to remember to put our detector back on, too, because I did pull that up. Let's put that block back down there. Excuse me. This is supposed to be black. And it's supposed to use this texture. And this symbol. Okay, all fixed. Back to the wings. Okay. So, that was wing B. Wing C. I don't know if I'm going to like wing C. Well, maybe we will like wing C. Let's check it out. So, we're going to flip it down this way, flip it that way, and this way. The thing that I don't like about Wing C is that it doesn't have a flat hard point for us to gracefully stick a thruster on the end of that wing. So I don't think we're going to go with that. Let's try something else. While I'm thinking about it, let's get our extension in place. And maybe we'll just put the detector right above it there. Okay. So wing D and E, these are kind of the stingray types of wings that I used. What? Wait, what? How did that happen? That's weird. Okay, so you know what? Actually, I kind of like this. Not this. I like the other one, or the direction rather of the other one. I don't know why it flipped that around like that though. That's really weird. Okay, let's go back to wing D again. We'll flip it this way and then this way. Where did that start? Yeah, right there. There. That could be kind of cool. That could be kind of cool. Question is, do we like that or do we like the other one better? This is going to fit the thruster a little more nicely because there's more of an area, you know, for the thruster to connect to. Let's get rid of this for a second. Okay. All right, let's go back to the other style again. In fact, what we might actually do is let's leave that one on the other side. And we'll go back to this wing B style that we were using. Boy. It's too hard for my brain to do it this way. We have to have the same wing on both sides. Too hard for my brain to visualize. Okay, so let's go that way and this way. There we go. The one thing I don't like about... I like the wings, but there's such a small area here for the thruster that it might look a little odd. Tell you what, we do have... No, those are HV thrusters, aren't they? Let's look at something here. Right now, I know this is a little bit premature, but right now our yaw is 20 degrees, okay? What happens if we take these guys... These are the ones we want here. Okay, so let's turn them this way. And probably like that. We don't have the symmetry plate on. Okay, what's that do to our yaw? Now it's 58. See what a huge, huge difference that made, you guys? By putting those thrusters out on the end of the wings. I just don't know if I like the look of it, though. It's... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right, well, I'm kind of leaning towards the other wings, so let's go with the other wings. Unfortunately, I can't ask you your opinion. If this was a live stream, I could, but it's not, so... There is one other thing we're going to do, though, first, before we add the wings on again. Let's put them back on our toolbar. I want to make the ship a little bit wider. So let's get our symmetry plane back on. Okay. So we're just going to use... you know what, too? I'm actually probably, now that I think about it, I'm not going to put thrusters in there at all. Not the main drive thrusters anyways. So let's do this. Oh, that's right. You can't drag extensions. Okay, we're going to go back to wing D. What does the tip of E look like? Yeah, E is a little bit more curved, whereas D has more of a kind of an angle. And I think for this particular build, I like the angle better than the curve. We could look at the curve. Let's just look at it. Might as well, right? We'll flip it this way and then this way. And stick it down that way. That is... it's so weird that it flips up on the opposite side here. That's kind of cool looking too, really. Let's get rid of this. All right, let's go back to the other style and look at it one last time. No point in putting the symmetry plane on because we're going to have to redo the damn thing anyway, so... Okay, we're going to go back to the D style. And let's flip it this way and this way. Yeah, I think I'm liking this one a little better. The other one looks cool too, but I like this one just a little better. Okay, so that's decided. So let's see. Now we need to think about lateral thrust. So what we could do for that... See, we're going to put... we could put something up above for lateral thrust. And we could put something down here. So let's do this. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to put that thruster there for the moment. Does that use up all of our little thrusters? I think it does. So we have at least one side, we have one down, we have a couple of ups, we have a forward, and then we'll put the back thrusters here, or the main drive thrusters, I should say. But remember, we're going to switch these out for the jets later. So it needs to go back, excuse me, one more block here. There we go. Okay. I think we have the thrust covered in all directions. So let's go ahead and jump in and grab some fuel from the base. Base. Overflow. Output. Oh, that's right. We used up all of our fuel for the HV, didn't we? Got a little bit there. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is let's go into our HV's inventory. It's all in the tank, isn't it? Doggone it. Okay. We're going to have to pull some of it back out of here for now. So we'll hit the P menu, go to the main tab. There's not very much in there either, is there? Holy shit. Okay. We have 247, so let's pull out, say, 200 worth of fuel. That only gives us 6 packs. Yeah, we are really low on fuel. Really low. We're going to have to do something about that. Do you have any fuel? Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, you've got all the fuel. You got all the fuels. So you have 222, so let's just do 220. That gives us 7 more fuel packs. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to go get some promethium, guys, pretty quickly here. Or either that or make some more biofuel, which we could do. But for now, let's just stick that in there. Wait, no. Shit, our base is really low on fuel too. We're kind of in bad shape here, aren't we? Let's go to the small vessel and then go to the fuel tank and put that much in, just so we can kind of get this thing launched and off the ground. Let me look at something here really quick. I can't remember if I have more biofuel in here or not. Got some blocks. Nope, we don't. Okay. Oh, we have 11 here. Okay. Normally I would hang on to this promethium, but we're kind of almost like dangerously low on fuel, because, you know, we don't want our base to run out of fuel and then have our, let's put this in the input, you know, get attacked or, you know, have our crop lights go out and lose our crops. So we're just going to convert all the rest of this to fuel for now, and we'll just have to go get some more promethium. There's no two ways about it. All right, so we'll go to base. We'll go to, I'm sorry, not base, the all filter, and I'm just going to have it make as many small fuel packs as it can for now. How are we doing on our rations? We got 3 made up so far. Let's have another burger, because we like burgers. Oh, I was going to also, let's go back to our base, hit our fuel tank, and let's put half of these in there. Yeah, shit, we better put a little more. Okay. Keep hitting the wrong button. Press P, go to manage, and dump these in here. Okay, let's fire her up. Press the Alt key and then scroll out just a little bit. And then we're going to just lift her off the ground maybe about this far. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to pull this... Whoops. We're going to pull this thruster back up for a minute. And I'm going to put... that guy in there. And then this one... there. Okay. So we have an up and a down in front. We've got an up and a down in back. And we might end up moving this one down a block too. In fact, I think I am going to do that. I'm going to do it right now because we are going to fill out another, block underneath here, and we want to make sure that I want it to be symmetrical and front and back. We'll just put an extension there for now. We might change that out later. One nice thing about what we're doing here too is we don't have to worry about separating the extensions like we did on the hover vessel because it's all just under one controller. Let's grab this, press T, and I want you to go there. Wait, yeah, like that. We don't even necessarily have to hold it that far back either. Well, let's just do that for now. Wait, did I put that on backwards? I did. Silly me. Alright, we're going to go to change and rotate. We're going to very carefully make sure we stay on this block and not accidentally switch to another block. Oh, that's rotated, right? Is it? No. There we go. Okay, and then we'll right-click and go back to the normal retrieve block. Now, let's take a look at what our, we're at 10 meters per second on this lateral. That's pretty weak. We're definitely going to want to improve that. If I was going to leave these engines here, we could put like a side thruster here, and we still could even do that with the jets, but let's wait and see about that. So what I'm going to do for the moment is let's go back into here. No, sorry, go into F4 and okay, so we got 50 fuel packs that we just made. Let's get those into the base, or at least that. Yeah, let's just fill the base completely up, and then we still have these left over that we can put in the small vessel. There we go. Okay. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back to the base. Go back to the base. Go to the constructor. And let's make air. Actually, hold on. Since that's making fuel, let's just go back in person and access the small constructor. Okay. And I want you to make a couple of more these, except for we can't because we're out of stuff. Man, we are running out of stuff left and right, aren't we? Okay. Can't borrow thrusters off of this guy because they're different. Well, we're just going to have to get by with one lateral thruster for now, but we're definitely going to add more of those later. What I was thinking of maybe doing is leaving the one in the middle, putting one up towards the front, and then also maybe having one towards the back, so we have 3 on each side. Anyway, this should be flyable, so let's hop in. Let's take it for a little bit of a spin. So, we've got, we're a little bit weak on the roll, which is to be expected, and, you can fix that by putting some of your vertical thrusters, again, on the outsides of the wings. We've got really good yaw, though. Really good yaw, and because we got those thrusters out on the outside of the wings. Let's check our braking power. It's kind of weak, so that's something we might want to look at too. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take these medium thrusters that we're currently using as our main drive thrusters and make those our braking thrusters, because yeah, that's very weak. our acceleration is not very good either, so we might end up making like maybe 4 jets. But it is a bit premature though for us to be thinking too terribly hard about performance, because we haven't built the whole thing out yet, right? It's going to get heavier, a little more mass as we continue on. So, you know, this is just kind of a very quick preliminary test anyway. But the problem we're running into now, guys, is we're running out of resources, and we need to make more stuff, and we need more fuel. And we're not really quite ready to take the small vessel itself up into space. I mean, we could, but, you know, it'd be very risky to do that right now because it's just not ready to go yet, right? So let's kill the power on this for now. And what I think I'm going to do... Ooh, we got a little damage there. Is I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here. And in the next episode, we'll continue, you know, building this out. And in the meantime, before I start that next episode, I'm going to go farm up some promethium and figure out, you know, what other resources we're low on. So let's see. We've got... Looks like we're very low on iron. We still have a decent amount of silicon and copper. We're going to need some more cobalt too, so I might have to go back into the irradiated zone in our hover vessel and grab some of that too. So yeah, I'll farm up some of the resources off camera that we need to continue on, and then when we come back in the next episode, we'll continue working on our small vessel build, and hopefully in that episode we'll get it, you know, built out enough to actually start using it. After that, the plan is going to be to go up into space for the first time and probably take a visit to the moon, and then we'll probably be ready to wrap up this series. Okay? So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share out the video, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.